For this exercise, we need to look at a formula that we can use that will allow us to look at more than two outcomes. So rather than just pass or fail, we need to look at a set of grades. And so, for example, if this student here has a score over 90, then we want this cell to display A. Just as an example, if that student's score did change to say 60, we would expect a grade C, and it shows a grade C, as we expect. So, the formula for this cell. What the formula is actually doing is, if we just unprotect the sheet, if we click in the formula, we can see here it's still an if statement, it just looks a little bit more complicated. So, let's have a look. The first bit we know, if J5, this cell here, J5, is greater than or equal to J11, J11, so it's this cell. So if this score is greater than or equal to 90, then display I11. We'll talk about these dollar signs in a bit. And here's our first, what we call nested if. So if it's not greater than or equal to 90, we then need to ask if the same cell, J5, is greater than or equal to 70, which is J12. If it is, then we display I12. If it isn't, we then go on to ask another if statement and present another condition, which is J5 greater than or equal to J13, which is this cell down here with 50 in it. If it is, then display C. And then, because we haven't got any more criteria, if every score below 50 is a U, we can simply finish off the if statement with the value if false, which would be this cell U down here, I14. Okay, and then we just simply finish off with the same amount of brackets that we've opened, 1, 2, 3. And that's how that if statement works. So, if we have a look at the example, just down here, we've got the same grade boundaries. To get an A you need 90, to get a B you need 17, to get a C you need 50, everything else is a U. We need to look at each student's score and provide a formula in each of these cells so that the program automatically displays the correct grade. So we can see here that we're expecting student 1 to show a C grade because it's above 50 but below 70. But the first thing we need to do, because we're going to use this formula all the way down, is to start at A. Is this score greater than this score here? So we say equals if, open bracket, J24 is greater than or equal to J36. If it is, then we want to display that cell there. If it isn't, we need to move on to the next grade boundary to check if it's above or equal to that. So we then say if J24, the same cell, is greater than or equal to J37, then we display I37. Otherwise, we then have to ask if it's above the grade boundary of C. So we say if J24 is greater than or equal to J38, then display I38. Otherwise, if it's not above or equal to any of these grades, it must be a U. So then we have to insert that cell reference there, which is I39, and then close all our brackets. So we've opened 3, so we close 3. And hopefully this should say C. And it does, so we have the correct answer. Now, rather than typing in the formula for each cell, which would be inefficient, we need to work out a way that we can use this fill handle at the bottom here, this little black square, to click and drag our formula down. However, as you notice, if I click and drag at the moment, the first 3 shows correct, which is lucky, and the other shows incorrect. Now if we have a look at the formulas, the first one we typed in, we know that's correct. If we look at the second one and we compare it to the first one, we notice that J24 changes to J25. We notice that J36, which is this cell here, changes to J37. We notice that I36 changes to I37. So in this if statement, the first level that is being checked is for a grade B. Then it moves down to a grade C in this condition, and finally it moves to grade U and also includes line 40. So if you notice, each time this first cell goes down 1 cell or 1 row, so do these. And if we click on the next one, it should have moved down another row. So this is where the dollar signs come in. The dollar signs mean that that cell has what we call absolute cell reference, and it won't change when we use the fill handle to drag down the cells. So if we put dollars around the cell references that we don't want to change, which are all the ones in the grade boundaries table, once we've done that, we can press enter and notice that the outcome doesn't change, but this time when we drag all the way down, now each time we click down a cell, the score being checked changes, but the grade boundaries references stay the same. And that's how we can do a number of different tasks very quickly. So it's up to you now to have a go at that. Once you've done sheet 1, move on to sheet 2, and it's a similar technique, except there are more grade boundaries. And then sheet 3 will test your knowledge, and you will need to use the absolute cell references, the dollar signs, to speed the process up, as there are 200 students.